Chang, how was part one for you?
I feel like the main goal should be fluency. They are looking at fluency, right? That's why I try to get the answers out as fast as I can. But on top of that, I also did try to take time to find the fancier versions of the words that I would use in normal life to kind of glow up my sentences.
Okay,
Yeah.
great tip. Let's have a look at some part one questions then. So the first question we've got here is, do you live in a house or an apartment? Trang, what would your approach be to a question like this?
For part one questions, especially this question that should be seen as the easier one, right? I try to think about the vocabulary, the good words, right? I can use related to the topic of living arrangements. And and different types of houses or apartments. And I try to say something about maybe the design or the decoration, the interior of my place.
Right, so that's going to give you an opportunity to use a variety of adjectives to describe it. Yeah.
I live in a 2-bedroom apartment in a popular residential area with my sister. And I'm pretty happy with our place as it's quite spacious and modern, even though it's somewhat plain looking.
The next question is, what is your favorite room?
Okay, so this question is quite similar to the first one in terms of the approach I would use. I would also go for colorful ways to describe any room in the apartment or the house. In my case, it's an apartment. So I probably would choose my best bedroom. Yeah, and I try to put in academic vocabulary. So the examiner can see that, okay, I'm capable of showcase a wide range of lexical resources, as they say. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're talking about the marking criteria there, and that's one of the band descriptors is about lexical resource and can you use words with precise meaning and appropriate words. Does anything come to mind? Are there any words or phrases that are popping into your mind for this question?
Okay, let's see. For my bedroom, I think I would say like it's a spacious. Yes, it's a spacious room. And there's actually a big floor-to-ceiling window in my bedroom. So I might use that. And maybe I might expand my answer into the activities I do in the bedroom, which leads us to my hobbies or my routine. And I have prepared some specific words for that area also that I might use. Yes, for example, like I enjoy doing various solitary pastimes in my bedroom. Yes, that's why it's my favorite room, for example.
Well, my bedroom is my absolute favorite, in which I spend most of my time. What I love most about the room is probably the huge floor-to-ceiling window that allows me to look outside over the neighborhood and enjoy natural light.
The next question is, what would you change about your home?
To be fair, I think this is a more difficult question in part one. But for this, I think I would use the conditional sentence. right? So I say, if it were up to me, or if it were easy for me to change anything, I think I would get a kitchen island built to make a beautiful statement piece for my place.
I love that phrase, statement piece. That's fantastic. Yeah, that's really smart, because the question is, what would you change? So it's already suggesting a conditional in the way that the question is phrased. So using an if statement in your answer there is really smart, because it gives you an opportunity to show a wider range of grammar as well.
To tell you the truth, it's not that easy for residents to make any renovations in my building. But I guess it would be nice if I could have a kitchen island built, so that we would have a beautiful statement piece for our place, as well as more storage for our utensils and kitchenware.
So I do have one more part one question, and this question is actually about food. What kind of food do you like to eat? So Chang, how would you answer this question?
For me, food is one of my favorite topics. So this question is not that hard for me to answer, and I think if I were given this question, I would say something like I would use some words like nutrition or nutritious, right? Nutritious meals and healthy and balanced diet, for example. So I might answer that. Okay, when it comes to food, I try to include a wide variety of dishes in my meals, including protein, vegetables, and starch, for example.
So, and are those words like protein and starch, they're not necessarily everyday words? Are they words that you've kind of learnt around the topic of food so that you have words to put into your answers?
Oh, no. Actually, I find it extremely hard if I just learn the words specifically for the IELTS test. And in my case, I'm lucky because I follow this topic in real life, because I try to take good care of my health. Yes. And that's why I know I read a lot of articles around this topic of food and diet. That's why I know about protein and starch. But I think that it's not necessarily the vocabulary that students might learn in, for example, in IELTS prep book, for example, right?
So you've mentioned a couple of times now that one of the reasons you have done well in the IELTS test is because you read a lot in English.
Yes.
Would you advise students who are preparing for IELTS to do that?
I love to advise everyone to do that. I think that people might not like it very much, because like reading is really old-fashioned, and there are more like modern and sophisticated ways to entertain yourself, right? But I think that not just IELTS, but in real life, if you want to improve your English for real, you should read a lot. And I actually prefer real content, like real articles and books to say a textbook on IELTS, the IELTS vocabulary or IELTS grammar.
When it comes to food, I try to eat as healthy as possible. I always make sure that there are a wide variety of dishes in my meals, including vegetables, protein, and starch. But from time to time, I also indulge myself in less healthy but incredibly delicious options such as French fries or pizza.